expanse of Yakutia, winter is absolute. At -71 degrees Celsius, the air itself feels like glass, and the endless white wilderness is both beautiful and merciless. Here, in one of the most remote places on Earth, 80-year-old Agafia Lykova lives alone in a small log cabin. For decades, she has endured the isolation, harsh winds, and relentless cold, surviving on her own resourcefulness and sheer will. One late afternoon, after hours spent ice fishing on the frozen river, Agafia began the long trek back home through the snow-laden forest. The silence was complete, the snow muffling all sound except her own footsteps and the crunching of her Yakutian horse, Sardana, moving carefully through the deep snow. Then something caught her eye. A dark, trembling shape beneath a lone tree in the middle of nowhere. She approached and her heart sank. It was a horse, thin, shivering, barely able to stand. Its coat was dusted with frost, its ribs showing through, its eyes wide with fear and exhaustion. Tied to the tree, it had clearly been abandoned. No footprints surrounded the animal, no sign of a human return. Someone had left it there on purpose, in one of the coldest places on the planet. Agafia's heart clenched. She knew hesitation could cost the horse its life. With no one else to help and almost nothing at her disposal, she had to act, quickly and decisively. She untied the ropes, wrapped the shivering horse in the thick blanket she carried, and guided it slowly back to her cabin. The journey was treacherous. Snow reached halfway up Sardana's legs, and the wind cut like knives across their faces. Yet, step by step, Agafia persevered. Inside her cabin, she built a fire and offered the horse what little food she had. Dry grains softened in warm water. Melted snow served as water. She spoke to it gently, murmuring comfort as it drank and shivered less. That night, the cabin, though small and sparse, became a sanctuary. Days turned into weeks. Agafia tended to the horse diligently, brushing frost from its coat, mending small injuries, feeding it carefully, and walking it slowly to strengthen its legs. She watched it regain strength, confidence returning to its eyes, a spark of life rekindled by her care. Then, one quiet morning, something extraordinary happened. Two shapes emerged at the edge of the forest. Agafia froze, thinking first of wolves. But as they approached, she realized they were dogs, or perhaps young wolves accustomed to humans. In their mouths, they carried bundles of roots, herbs, and small offerings, placing them gently near her cabin. It was as if the wilderness itself was acknowledging her compassion, rewarding her courage and care for a life that had been abandoned. Agafia watched silently, heart swelling, as the creatures disappeared back into the forest. Through it all, Agafia's actions reminded anyone who hears her story that kindness does not need a reason. In the harshest, coldest, and most unforgiving environments, a single person's choice to step forward can save a life. The horse, now healthy, moved through the snowy yard with newfound strength. Sardana tolerated it patiently. Outside, the Yakutian wilderness remained vast, white, and silent. Inside, warmth lingered, not just from fire, but from the enduring spirit of a woman who refused to look away. In a land where survival is a daily battle, Agafia showed that true strength is not only measured by endurance but by compassion. And somewhere, deep in the forest, the spirits of the wild, perhaps wolves, perhaps the unseen eyes of the forest itself, watched silently, recognizing a rare courage, the courage to act when no one else would. In Yakutia, life is harsh. The cold is merciless. The wilderness tests all who enter. But sometimes warmth comes from the heart, and a single act of kindness can echo through the snow, leaving the impossible a little more possible.